Today we're smoking some baby back pork ribs. Now, if I knew what I'm about to teach you guys, 15, 16 years ago, I'm 31 years old. If I knew this back then, boy, I would have been a good cook now. But we're gonna cook these on my offset smoker, my Oklahoma Joe's behind me. It's half gas and half smoker, so very cool setup. Let me show it to you. So essentially what we got here, it's almost like a 3-in-1 because you can still use charcoal. So this is obviously, we're gonna need a lot more bricks than that, but that's what I had from my small bag that I had left. So this is where I'm gonna have all my smoke coming from, my fire. And then we got our smoke chamber here. Smoke's gonna travel through. We got an exhaust right here, temperature control. Also temperature control, I can't even speak. Temperature control over here, small door. I like to use this to clean out some of the ash on the bottom when I'm smoking. So we got our smoke side, like I just showed you, and then we got a gas side, which is very convenient because I don't always want to light up some charcoal. So this Oklahoma Joe's grill, I believe it was 400 and some change, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. I love this fucking thing. So cool. So I'm using this Kingsford long burn charcoal. I usually like to have about 2 bags of this just to be safe and have a little bit extra. And we're using some mesquite wood chunks. Now there's 2 different kinds of cuts you can buy at the store. I'm using these wood chunks. You can get them at Lowe's, like the hardware store. You should have a Lowe's around you somewhere in the United States. Now these are the wood chunks. Now don't get them confused. See, that's a nice chunk of wood right there. It's a mesquite. They also have wood chips. If you're doing like a really, see, these are like smaller cut chips. If you're doing like a long smoke for about 3-4 hours, I would get the chunks. If you're doing something like steaks, just to get a little bit of smoke in there, those small little chips are fine, but we're using chunks today. I'm just gonna get me a good pile of bricks here. To get my fire going. Okay, I lost one. I'm gonna make these into a little teepee, and then we'll be ready to light this bad boy. So again, guys, I have these Weber lighter cubes I'm going to use just to slide under here and get my fire going. I've tried in the past, you know, lighting butcher paper and all that stuff, but these seem to burn for a pretty good amount of time. It's like a little wax cube. I'm just going to slide underneath this slot here and light it up and get this charcoal going, because the biggest thing about smoking is temperature control. So I need to get these bricks going now. So this is going to take a little bit to get going. And then we're going to prepare our ribs while our charcoal is getting ready to go. So we got our ribs here. The first thing we're after is taking off this membrane. If you can see, it's a very thin white, almost like a piece of skin called the membrane that you're going to want to peel off. And this is probably the hardest part of ribs for me, is getting this membrane started. So let's see if we can get a little bit. It's a very thin piece. But if you can get this started and ripping, oh, that's a good piece. What everyone says on the internet, and I learned how to cook from a good friend of mine, Mark. Shout out to you, Mark. And watching YouTube videos, we can get a little piece of this membrane started here. And we're gonna grab it with a paper towel and we're gonna pull back. And this might be first try. Okay, so, no, we didn't get everything we wanted, but you can kind of see how this works. If I can get a grip here on this membrane. Okay. So it didn't pull off as effortlessly as it has in the past, but this is probably the toughest part for me personally, is just getting this membrane off. I should have got a better starting point, but it's not too bad. That's essentially what we're doing. Once I get this membrane off, guys, I'm gonna season these bad boys. I'm just gonna skip to that because it's gonna give you a better product with this membrane off, but no need you guys seeing me struggle. But if you can get it started with a butter knife like I showed you, I'm gonna pull it with a paper towel to get a better grip, because usually a little slippery. You'd be good to go. That's what we're looking for here. You can see how that membrane has been removed. It's gonna be a lot better product at the end without that membrane on the back of these ribs. Now, if you're cooking beef ribs, you're gonna wanna keep the membrane on there, because if you don't, your meat's probably gonna fall apart at the end without the membrane on there. So pork, pull the membrane off. Beef ribs, keep it on there. Just remember that. So I know some of you out there in the comment section are like, oh my God, I hate mustard. You're really not gonna taste it once it's cooked. So use this as a binder just to make sure our rub stays on there. I mean, you're not gonna taste it. Don't even worry about it, guys. Relax. What do you know? We got some Kent Rollins Red River Ranch mesquite seasoning we're gonna season these ribs with. I haven't used this yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be delicious, like his other seasonings. So we're gonna get us our rub on here. It's full, so it's not coming out as effortlessly as I would like. Get our rub on there. Don't be shy, but don't go overboard. You don't need a lot for pork ribs. You don't need a lot of rub for pork ribs, but don't be shy either. Get in there. Alright guys, so the bricks are hot, so I've started putting some pieces of wood in here. Hopefully you guys can see, to try to get some smoke going and get my temperature control started. So we're looking for about 275 here, almost 300, because once you put the meat in, the temperature's going to drop because of the temperature of the meat. So around 300 will be good, and then we're going to start some smoking. It's going to be real good. We're getting around 275, so I'm just going to throw these bad boys on. And what you need to know is, ooh, that's hot. The back side of your grill where your exhaust is actually the hottest spot of your grill, because that's where that smoke's traveling through. So be careful and where you place this meat. So what I do is I place the thickest edge, or the thickest part of my rib, and then I scrunch it together while I place it on my grill towards that exhaust. And after about an hour and a half, I'll probably swap my ribs. So I'm scrunching my ribs together, keep them nice and intact. And if you can see here, whew, it's hot. Let me get my gloves on, guys. Now, I made myself a cup out of aluminum foil. This is just for moisture. You can put water in there, apple juice, apple cider. I'm just gonna put a beer in here because why not? That's how serious I am, guys, about keeping moisture. I'm gonna waste a beer. So we're gonna smoke these and try to stay around roughly 250 to 275, in that range. I've cooked them at 225 and I personally did not like how they came out. I felt like they needed a little bit more heat, a little bit more cooking. So 3 hours of smoking. Very important that you're smoking these 3 hours, and then after 3 hours we'll wrap them in foil. It'll be a very easy process. And then I'll pretty much just show you what to do then. So 3 hours of smoke, around 250, 275, somewhere in that range, and we'll be good to go. So every 35 to 45 minutes, I roughly come out here and check my charcoal, because you don't want that to go out. So we got some wood burning still, because I did jangle it around a little bit. Please be careful with this fire. It is very hot in there. Please wear gloves. These are some really cheap gardening gloves from the hardware store. So I'm gonna get some bricks in here just to make sure my fire doesn't go out completely. Those coals are very hot. I come outside, I see no smoke, and I don't like that. So we're at the temperature we would like, but in terms of our smoke, you can see that piece of wood there is almost all ash. So I'm just gonna take another chunk of wood here. Oh yeah, she's burning now. Get a good chunk of wood here in my hand. I got two decent sized. Put some more wood in there. Let's get a little bit more. And we should be getting some smoke very soon. So, I know we're eager to check how the ribs look after roughly an hour and some change. So we're gonna peek real quick. You don't need to, they're fine. All right, we're gonna check them. They're looking good, all right? Don't worry about it, guys. They're gonna turn out really, really good. Champ is always trying to play fetch when I'm cooking. So, if you guys wanna work out, you can come over here. Get you a workout. Yeah, good boy. And he doesn't really fetch yet, right, Apollo? You don't fetch yet, but you will. Good boy. Champ's about 3 years old. He loves playing fetch. I mean, he'll play fetch until he dies. As long as you're throwing it, he will keep bringing it back to you. He's nuts. But Paul, you always biting your brother's cheek. So we've had 3 hours of smoke on our ribs at roughly 275. We're floating around 250, 275. We're gonna put a meat down for this next portion. So all you're gonna need for this, now you can do whatever you want here in terms of your flavors. So I got a little bit of butter. We're gonna put just a little bit, about roughly 3 dollops of butter. Then I'm gonna put a little bit of honey, giving a little bit of a little sweet taste. You don't gotta go overboard with the honey here. You'll taste it, believe that. Now we have some brown sugar. Now I've used this in the past and it's turned out pretty good. You don't need to overdo the brown sugar here. I'm gonna sprinkle some brown sugar. And the reason we're doing it on this back side of our ribs is because, one, it has the potential to seep through to the actual meat portion of it, but as we heat this up, the butter starts to melt and the honey starts to, you know, melt down. We're going to get, let me actually fold it this way, all the juices sitting where this meat is. So we're gonna sit it like this on our grill. Let me put it back on, and all these juices and this moisture is gonna be at the bottom, and all this meat on the bottom is gonna be soaking it up. So we're gonna roll this one time, get a nice good roll in there. Let's move that out of the way, and boom. Fold it on top. Now, this is where my bones are that I put all my seasoning on. So as I put it meat down on my grill again, all these juices are gonna seep to the bottom and it's just gonna simmer in there. It's gonna be real nice. So at this point, since our ribs are wrapped in some foil, we do not need to worry about smoke or wood chips anymore. Wood chunks, whatever we're using. All we're gonna worry about is making sure we have plenty of bricks in there to keep our temperature around 250, 275. And we're gonna do this for 2 more hours and then we'll be good to go. We'll let them rest and then we'll cut them open and see what we got. Yoink! So it's been 1 hour in our foil, and what we're gonna do now for the last hour, you could have done this the first time we wrapped it, but it's not completely crucial that you didn't. We're gonna wrap it with some barbecue sauce. Okay, that's gonna be really hot. I don't wanna grab that. Let's get this flipper over. There we go. We got these bones sticking out. See that juice rolling back in there? That's why we have the meat down. So I'm just gonna take some barbecue sauce. We're using hickory and brown sugar. Now I know I'm not smoking with hickory wood, but I don't care. I'm not wasting my barbecue sauce. So this is what we got on deck. So this is gonna be like the last 2 raw before we unwrap it. I don't know if you guys can see right here. I'm sure you can once I point it out to you. We got some bone sticking out. Ooh, nice and tender, nice and soft. So we got, ooh, 1 more hour with our barbecue sauce actually squirted on there. That's what she said. And then we're gonna be almost done there. My nephew's shaking his head because I said that's what she said joke, but he's learning. He said it smelled real good. That's what that was. So we're gonna put some barbecue sauce on here. Make sure you guys can see it. You can use whatever barbecue sauce you want. I don't care. Put some barbecue sauce in here. That's gonna get down on that meat with that heat we got on here. So 1 more hour in our foil and we're almost at the finish line. Like I said, smoking meat is a game of patience. If you have no patience, you ain't gonna make it. I'm telling you, my nephew knows it's a game of patience, but I'm not gonna say I've mastered pork ribs, but damn, we know what we're doing now. And it's really satisfying to know what you're doing when you're cooking meat like this. Very cool. A grand total of 5 hours, 3 smoked, 2 wrapped. This is what we're gonna get. We're almost there. It's the icing on the cake. I want you to save this foil because we're gonna use it to let them actually rest. So this is what we got. Ooh, I'm telling you, you see how these bones are protruding? A very good sign. I'm gonna put these back on the grill without my foil. Ooh, they wanna fall apart right now, but I'm not gonna let them. I don't want the juice to drip so the dogs eat it off the concrete. But, so the last 15 minutes, we're gonna caramelize our barbecue sauce on top. Oh yeah, I got my nephew filming. This is real nice without a tripod. Just want this caramelization with our barbecue. It's a little windy, don't worry about it guys, we're fine. So 15 more minutes with our barbecue on top. Don't be shy, I'm gonna get one more yoink on here. Don't be shy on the barbecue sauce. Again, you can use whatever barbecue sauce you would like. You don't necessarily need to match it with the wood that you used for flavor. But if you do, that's fine. If you don't, fuck it, dude. It's alright, guys, if your mouth is watering. I totally understand. So is mine. Get this out of the way here. Look at this bad boy. Oh my goodness. I know you can see that. Woo! So here we go. We're gonna let these rest for roughly a half hour. I got a little bit more foil I can use to wrap these. But we're almost at that finish line, guys. We can see the finish line. We're good to go. My nephew's gonna give me some more wrap here. I like to use the heavy duty aluminum foil as I don't want any rips. It's super windy outside, so. Oh yeah. I'm excited. It's been a long day. So we're gonna let this rest for 15 to 30 minutes. A quick recap. 3 hours of smoking at roughly 250, 275. 2 hours wrapped with, you know, the butter, the brown sugar, the honey for 2 hours. Now you can add the barbecue sauce when I first wrapped them. That's fine. You don't have to use it on the second pass. But so a total of 5 hours plus 15 minutes for caramelization on our barbecue sauce and then 30 minutes to rest. So it's time to cut our ribs. There's two ways you can cut these. You can cut them dead center so you can eat off of both sides, or you can kind of, we're not going to confuse you guys, so we're just going to cut it right in the center. So with our very extra knife that we have here, oh there we go, we're cutting right through. Now let's get, this should be a good cut for you guys. I want you guys to look at this. See that pink ring? That's called a smoke ring. Very good. I'm actually gonna eat this piece. I'm gonna give you guys a legitimate taste test on my baby back ribs that I showed you guys how to cook today. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If it sucks, I'm gonna tell you. If it's awesome, I'm gonna tell you. So here we go. It's so soft. I got barbecue sauce in my beard. I don't even care. That's how good it is. Look at this. It's so good. I think I got barbecue sauce on my grill, probably, huh? Mm-hmm. Look at this meat, though. This juice, it's so soft. Actually, pork ribs are super easy to make once you know, like, the formula. There's no exact number to actually cooking these. I just roughly 5 hours with the temperatures I showed you, but with that being said, guys, happy 4th of July if I don't make a video until then. If you're making some ribs and I still have barbecue sauce on my lip, probably, enjoy your ribs. I'm gonna cook I'm gonna cook a brisket this Sunday, so expect a video Sunday night or Monday morning for a brisket. So we still got time till the 4th of July. It is next Thursday, and as I'm filming this, it's actually Wednesday, so have fun, go outside, enjoy the fresh air, and y'all stay sweaty.